Welcome to a Bishop Hartley football game day. I'm Bob McElligott, and this game day is being brought to you by Dr. Hutta and Price Orthodontics. From the very first time that you step foot in their offices, you are going to feel welcomed when you visit Dr. Hutta and Dr. Price. And that's not by accident. That is on purpose. They want to create a great sense of trust between themselves and their patients. And that is something that is very important. You're going there, putting your trust in them. They want you to feel that trust from the very first time that you meet. And that's exactly what will happen to you at Dr. Hutta and Dr. Price Orthodontics. Now, they're going to do great work for you as well. Orthodontics, not just for children anymore, it's for all ages. And you can go in and get a free consultation. All you have to do is get information and schedule on their website at lovethatsmile.net. Well, last week, the Hartley Hawks lost their opener. They went up to Youngstown, took on Ursuline, and lost a high-scoring affair. 62-58 was the final in that game. The Hawks were actually on a drive at the end, and they got stopped on fourth down as they were attempting to get one more score that would have won them the game. This week, the Hawks are taking on Harvest Prep in the home opener at Jack Ryan Field. Harvest Prep is coming off a win last week against Eastmoor. This should be an interesting matchup as well. I had a chance to sit down and talk with the head coach of the Hartley Hawks, Brad Birchfield, about last week's loss and looking ahead to what the Hawks are facing this week. Well, Brad, I know you're a defensive guy. So a game that not only you lose, but you give up 62 points. You and I talked about it just a bit before we started this. You said it was a shootout. You were on the wrong end of it. Was it tough for you, again, being a guy that's big on defense, to see that many points scored against your team?
Oh, of course, embarrassing and disappointed. I mean, the kids played really, really hard. They made some great plays, and it isn't hard for anybody that watched the game to see they made some remarkable plays. And they're a really good football team, and that was kind of the story of it. I wasn't disappointed in the kids. I wasn't disappointed in anything anybody didn't do. They played with tremendous effort and toughness. It was just a game where, there were so many swings of emotion and so many swings of momentum that, they made one more at the end than we did. But obviously, you'd like to have a couple stops in there where they were just crucial, and either they made a ridiculous catch or quarterback got out of trouble quite a bit. He's a great player as well. So it was a great game. And, it's always tough to lose one of those heavyweight fights right at the beginning of the game, or right at the beginning of the year, because that's what you've been working on. But that's the price you pay for playing, for swinging hard in that opening week.
Yeah. And, to take it a step further, you just mentioned at the very end, you had control. You had the ball driving late in the game. So even though the score was very high, you controlled your own destiny at the end. As you said, they did make the play. But from a coaching standpoint, you can at least look at that as a positive, right? It was all right there for you.
Oh, my gosh. If nobody ever asks any question if they don't convert one less third down, or a ball that goes off somebody's fingertips doesn't get caught, or whatever. You can't look at it like fans do, where they just see either a score or statistics. You have to look at the actual game. And it literally is one play, one way or another, changes the game for both teams. We never certainly had control. Neither team had control. It was a back and forth from the very beginning to the very end. And, that was it. You could cut up the tape and show a lot of it, and you'd think the kids played magnificently, and they would do the same.
All right, let's talk about your offense, because, even though you do lose the game, there's a lot to show there with the 58 points that you put on the board. And we talked about your offense last week, and is it going to be a little bit different this year? Will there be more wrinkles for you? Will you go more to the passing game? Dissect the 58 points for me and what you liked that you saw in the plays that your offense was able to make.
Well, everybody made plays. Everybody, our running game was obviously terrific. The offensive line was unbelievable. The running backs, we had a great number of running backs that had huge games for us. Peyton threw the ball well. We had some incredible catches just the same. I told somebody this morning, if if that game was a college game on ESPN, it would be replayed every hour of the day. People would have been talking about it and been wanting to see it. So the whole offense looked great. We were able to take advantage of what they were giving us. And execution was really, really good. No question.
Let's talk about Peyton Underwood a little bit more, your quarterback here in his second full season in that position. Your team has always run the ball so well, and that really gives you an advantage because you can use play action. And some of the bigger plays, you were able to utilize that play action. And actually watching him too, he did a good job. And I know you tried to do this with him last year, and maybe that experience that he got is showing up even in week one, the rolling out and getting away from the pressure a little bit and being able to make a strong throw downfield. How impressed were you with his decision-making and his execution?
Oh, he did great. Again, it's only week one. I know there's plays he'd like to have back, just like all of us would at every position. But where we're starting and which direction we're going is certainly really, really exciting. And, he's a big, strong, physical kid and strong-armed. And like I said, Ursuline threw a lot at him as well. So he was able to kind of see a lot of stuff. I don't know that the game slows down because the schedule continues to be really, really crucial. But he at least has great, great experience of what good football teams do.
And one thing that's really great for him as a quarterback is you can take a short little pass that you're kind of dumping off to one of your running backs, and they can turn that into a 50-plus yard gain. They can turn it into a big touchdown. Trey Saunders is so good at doing that, and no surprise that this guy picked up right where he left off last year and had a huge game offensively.
Yeah, Trey's great, and we're going to get Trey more involved on defense as well. I mean, I think we've got to use him. He's a weapon, and in all three phases we've got to use him. And even when he's not active, he keeps people from being active on that side and allows us to load up in other areas. And you're exactly right. It allows us to spread the field and use all of our players, make them defend all the field. Obviously, we'd love if they remove people out there and tried to worry about him because that would leave us more room on the offensive line. So, we're blessed to have him, and he's a great player, great leader, and we're cherishing every moment we have with him.
Yeah, speaking of that, you mentioned you have such a plethora of running backs, and you have guys that run the ball different ways. And Niall Johnson is kind of a speed guy back there. Then you can come with big guys. Deontay Hubbard's a bigger guy, and you can utilize that when you have the opportunity to spread the defense like that. How big of a chance is that to take some of those bigger guys and let them pound, and not pound for the 2 or 3 yards, but they can now pound for 6, 7, 8 yards?
Yeah, and I know we've talked about this before. You just never know what the defense is going to do. Like, what are they telling them? Are they telling them that we're taking away this guy, or we're taking away this play or that play? And then we've got to be good enough to kind of counter off it, which we've been. But that with between Niall and Deontay, and then Sherrod and Dylan will be back soon. And then you have Richard and Trey on the outside and Anthony Murphy. That's a lot of different areas of the field in which we can threaten and take advantage of what they give us.
All right. Now you're taking on Harvest Prep this week. This is a game that's going to be at home, Jack Ryan Field. I know you're excited about that. They have that home opener. But what have you worked on this week, and especially with your defense? Because here comes another team that put up 60 points last week. What have you worked on defensively, especially in tightening things up this week?
I mean, we got to get better at the 50-50 balls. Harvest Prep will throw it deep on us. They will certainly make every attempt to do that. And we've got to get better at playing those routes. Again, he was the quarterback for Ursuline, a really good player. I mean, he's going to Central Florida on full scholarship. So he's a great football player. And he was 50% passing, but just the balls that they caught were just crucial and just absolutely crucial in crucial situations. And they were ridiculous plays that were well covered, and we have to keep practicing. We have to keep working, and those are the things. Now, Harvest Prep's really, really good. I'll talk about their quarterback, who's a really good player, and they've got 3 receivers that are big, strong, physical, athletic kids. But their running back's one of the very best. I mean, he is he's really, really good. I think before we started studying him, we didn't know what we were in for. Man, this kid is an outstanding football player.
You're talking about Jalen Jennings, and this is a guy that's coming off a 5-touchdown performance in week 1. And as I was listening to you describe that offense, it kind of sounds like just what we were talking about with your offense. They have the ability to throw the ball deep, so you have to respect that. I know last week Eastmore tried to put 9 guys right up on the line of scrimmage to stop him early in that game. Didn't work out, obviously. Still had 5 touchdowns. So what do you see as maybe the secret in containing this guy?
Well, I don't know there's a secret. I mean, we have to do a good job tackling them, getting everybody to the football, but yet still respecting their deep threats as well, which they put us in quite a bind. But I mean, there's no secrets. I don't think anybody ever beats these guys with some kind of secret formula, nor would it do people beat us with a secret formula. You have to outplay them and you have to be better than them. We have to do a good job up front. We have to do a good job getting as many hats as we can on number one. If you let him get started and find a crease, he's gone. I mean, he's not coming back. So we've got to do a good job of tackling him at the point of attack for sure.
All right,
base fundamentals.
Oh, perfect. All right, let's your offense. Last week, I noticed when it came to third down conversions, I'm sure that number was not where you wanted it to be. I think you were 3 for 9 on third down. You mentioned Ursuline. When they made a catch, it was a big catch. It was a timely catch. It was a catch that kept the drive going. How important is it going to be to focus on that aspect? Not just this week, but I mean, if you're going to have a successful season, those key plays are the ones that you've got to turn in better than 50% every night.
Yeah, huge plays. We talk about mastering the moment all the time, and those are the moments in which we've got to convert and get better. But we will. It just takes time. I mean, anybody that's followed us knows, way back, it's been we've been here a long time now, and way back, people would get very nervous when we dropped week one, and I went back and did the statistics. We haven't won a week one game against an Ohio opponent since 2013. So these are par for the course, and there's a whole philosophy behind it. We're certainly trying to win with everything we have, but we've got to realize where we need to get better, and that can only be taught to us by playing really good people and really good opponents. Those are the people that can teach us where it is that we need to get better, what we need to do to improve. First and foremost, as coaches. And then we put it in motion. So all those things will improve. I mean, we're going to be normal to how we usually are, where we're going to get a lot better, and you'll see a different team week in, week out, because the kids are committed to getting better, and that's what they'll do. Yeah.
And speaking of that, when you're putting together a schedule, I'm sure that you can go out there and you can say, I know how we can start the season with a 1-0 record. I can schedule this team, and there's a pretty good chance we're going to get off on a winning foot to start the year. But as you said, it is about getting better, because it's not how you play in week one. It's how you're playing at the end. It's about qualifying for the postseason, obviously. But when you get there, you want to be playing your best football, and you only do that by challenging yourself early, don't you?
Yeah, you want to play great in the Central Catholic League games and in the playoffs. So everything we do trains us for that. I mean, defending this great running back and their multiple offense is going to prepare us to be the very best we can down the road, and sense of urgency and fundamentals and all those things. So yeah, absolutely. Now, I don't know for sure we could call those sure week one wins anymore. They're playing each other now. They've been happy to play each other. So listen, we've taken it and we've made it into a positive, and we have a roadmap for when we fall early on. And yeah.
All right. You're coming home to play this very first game at home. And the reason I bring this up, it's always special to play that first game of the year on your home field. But this year, I would imagine it's even more special because, yeah, you had some fans in there last year, but you didn't have that full home field advantage throughout the 2020 season. How much are you looking forward to coming in there, having people there, having it be loud, having it be what you're used to at Bishop Hartley?
Yeah, our kids are excited to be jam-packed. Our soccer opener last Saturday night was jam-packed with students. So I know our kids are excited for that. They're also excited because hopefully this is the beginning of a neat East Side rivalry. I mean, we're only a few miles apart from Harvest Prep. They've been very successful. We've been successful. This is another great game. So a great opportunity to open up. I know the kids know one another on both teams. Obviously, I know Coach Smith pretty well and have a lot of respect for him. So it's going to be an exciting environment. And listen, it was crazy up at Ursuline. They had a huge crowd and they were into it. I mean, who wouldn't be? But we're looking forward to having that at Hartley.
How much do you like that opportunity to foster some rivalries outside of your league play like this? How much does that mean to you? And I think you kind of touched on it when you talk about the kids knowing each other, because that obviously it means a lot to them. But when you're creating these things, like this is a game that if you get it going and then all of a sudden it becomes a staple of your schedule each and every year, it's something else you can look forward to in addition to the Watterson St. Charles DeSales, right?
Yeah, this could be a whole different podcast in itself talking about this, but when we first got here, our rivals were Bexley Academy and Reedy, and the kids would get really excited about those, and they'd be huge games. And then as we've transitioned and gone maybe different directions, our rivals have become Waterston, St. Charles, and Hartley again, which is better for everybody. It's better for the students, it's better for the program, it's better for the dignity of the league, all those kind of things. That it is really, really good. But it's left us with lots of games where we're in and out for a couple of years. And I lament that a little bit because we don't have the rivalries. And when you don't have the rivalries and the connection and the respect, it's easy to kind of come and go. And so I long for those rivalries. I would love if we kept playing St. V and Benedictine, Harvest Prep and Canal and these teams over and over and over, year after year. I mean, we all lost a game this week when the Reigning Thunder dropped St. Charles, DeSales, and Hartley. Listen, that's no fun, not having a game or not knowing who you're going to play. You'd like to be locked in and say, hey, week 7, we're playing whoever, Chaminade Julienne every year. And we know it's going to be hard fought. We long for those kind of rivalries. So we've worked hard to try to create them, but it hasn't been easy. That's for sure.
All right. Well, maybe this will be the start of something big. Harvest Prep at Jack Ryan Field, 7:00 Friday night. You can watch that game on the Bishop Hartley YouTube channel. You can also hear the radio simulcast on GBSN Radio, which is at GameDayBroadcasting.com. Brad, thank you very much, and best of luck this week.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
That is head coach Brad Birchfield. This is Hartley Game Day. It's been brought to you by Hutta and Price Orthodontics. I'm Bob McElligott.